Here's a fun life hack if you own a dog. Did you know that you can feed your boogers to your dog and they're not going to tell anybody? Did you know that? They don't tell anybody. It's the best trick ever. Why do we have tissues? We just should all have dogs. So I already lost half of you on that joke. I know, it's okay. But one of you is going to try it, and I'm excited for your dog. I go to pick my nose and both of my dogs sit and put out their paw like I have a wife. She's we just got married. It's pretty cool. She's really excited about it. We like to argue all the time. That's how I know it's a good relationship. We argue about stupid stuff. Like it doesn't matter. Whoever wins, our life's the same. We argue about the thermostat all the time. It's a common argument. But we're millennials. We have a Nest thermostat. So that argument is different. See, the thing about the Nest thermostat is there's an app and you can control it from your phone. The other thing is you can both control it from your phone. She's at home right now. We could roast her if we wanted to. Like, she could become the frog in a boiling pot of water. We just increase it by a degree every minute and see if she notices. She won't. She'll quickly notice, actually. She likes to keep it at 66 degrees because she's almost the devil. Almost. I like to keep it at 69 degrees. Because I like to party. Hell yeah. 420 is too hot. That is too hot to keep a house. My house does stay lit. I'll tell you that much. You want to come over. I have a state record in Ohio for wrestling from high school. I was when I was in 7th grade, I was one of those angry kids that thought they were bullied by everybody, and I would get in fights and lose all the time. And so my parents and my teachers conspired, and they had a meeting, and they pulled me in. They said, "Hey, Wayne, what do you think about wrestling?" I was like, "I think about it a lot." I'm 13 years old. I watch on it all the time. And they're like, "Well, do you want to join the wrestling team?" I'm like, "There's a wrestling team?" I watched every episode of Monday Night Raw from the time I was 8 years old till I was 13 years old. And you mean to tell me that there's a team here that's going to teach me how to be Ric Flair? I am in. I'm in. That's not what it was. So I was a 7th grader, and I showed up to the first day of wrestling practice with a robe that Nature Boy spelled out in athletic tape on the back of my robe and a Speedo on. And I walk into the wrestling room, and I open the door and go, "Woo!" And I look in and I see what wrestling really is. I'm like, oh no, I need to leave right here. It's like someone invited me to a formal summer barbecue and I showed up in shorts and a tank top and everyone's in a tuxedo. And I walked in, I went and changed my clothes and I went and looked in the room and I realized that all of those people that I thought were bullying me were also on the wrestling team. So when I was going to get beat up on for 2 hours, they called practice. That was what it was for the rest of my life. I just got beat up for a bunch of years. I got all right at wrestling. I was okay at wrestling. I made the all-star team. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's everybody that's not on the varsity team and not on JV and only me. I was the only one. They did it to make me feel good about myself because I didn't win often. And, you don't want to call me the dumbass can't wrestle team. So when you go to wrestle, there's 2 different types of matches. There's wrestling meets, where they have 6 to 8 mats in a gym all day on Saturday, and people go and wrestle, and I got my ass kicked all the time, and nobody ever saw it because it happened so fast. And then I go back to the bench and eat power bars and drink Gatorade and try to flirt with girls and fail miserably. That's what I did all day. And then there was the duels, and the duels were it. It was team versus team. They would put one wrestling mat in the middle of the gym, turn out all of the lights, and have a spotlight right over the wrestling mat. Line up team on each side, and they would go weight class by weight class and wrestle each other. And I was an amorphous child. I could fit into a lot of weight classes. So whenever someone was sick, I always got to fill into their spot if the person that was supposed to fill into their spot was also sick. So sometimes I got to wrestle at these duels. And one time I had to fill in at the 189-pound weight class, and I weighed 170 pounds at the time. I was giving up a lot of weight, as you will say. And I remember going out to the mat and seeing the guy that I was wrestling against, and I did some research on him. He looked like someone that could beat up all of our dads. Like one of those guys. And I found out that he had won state championship in wrestling 3 times. He was a senior. He'd won all the available state championships that he could win. And I had won 0 state championships. In fact, I'd won 0 matches. I was not good at wrestling. So I'm walking out in my singlet, and he's walking out in his, and they're tight pieces of clothing. And as we're going to line up, I am just enamored with his dick. Dude, this thing was so big, and it's a tight piece of clothing. I mean, down the leg, major outline. Like, it's gonna come out the elastic at the bottom. Like, what is gonna happen? Is this a team sport to keep your dick in your singlet now? Like, what? Like, how? What do I grab around? Do I use it? What do I do? I can see a vein. Meanwhile, I'm standing there in my singlet, and I look like this. The same. And my dick is just like a little button, kind of poking out that you want to just push it in and see if it pops back out or whatever. So I'm walking up, and I'm going to shake his hand, and we shake hands, and I should have surrendered from the handshake. Like, I had no business being in this match after that handshake. I lost the handshake. So we get ready to wrestle, and the referee's right here, and we're going, and he goes to put his whistle to his lips, and right before he whistles, he goes, "Good luck," and blows a whistle. And that was to me. That was definitely to me. Now, our coach has always told us that wrestling was also a mental sport, So maybe this guy had a bad day, and I could catch him in an off move and randomly fall into a pin. Very little chance of that happening, but maybe. And right as the ref blew the whistle, the guy reached around my head, under my arms, and hip-checked me to the mat. And like the ref knew it was going to happen, met us there and declared me pinned. And I was the fastest pinned person in the state of Ohio at 5 seconds. Hell yeah! Oh, we did it! We did it! They will remember me forever. And you might think, there's no way that that's a real record. And I'm here to tell you it is, because wrestling is a sport by bullies, for bullies, to hurt the people that they like to bully. And that is for sure that this guy's name versus Wayne Memmott in defeat at 5 seconds is for sure in the state record book. So take that, Coach Kearns, or whatever. I remember when I quit the wrestling team halfway through senior year. I went up to him. My coach was an old grizzled war vet, and I was like, "Coach Kearns, I'm quitting the wrestling team." And he just looked at me and goes, "Thank you." So,